Today, what's on topic is sciatic pain. I'm sure, if you're on the program, your glutes are probably starting to speak to you, your legs, maybe your lower back. We are accessing muscles that probably haven't been really touched or used in a long time, if ever. So let's get into it. I want to help you relieve maybe some of that discomfort or soreness that may be taking place. Mobility and recovery are so important, and I hope you are really taking full advantage of all the different opportunities that are presented in this program. So let's get right onto it. Sciatic pain, we have three nerves that are running down to our hip area, low back, right? So that's going to be behind that piriformis muscle in our glute. And that's really where it's kind of originates from and then shoots down the leg. So it kind of comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, whether it's from a bulging disc, maybe it's from piriformis syndrome, maybe it's just from working those muscles, pregnancy. There's all sorts of reasons why this area might be speaking to you. So let's get right onto it. First things first, our legs out in front, okay? Now, we're not gonna forward fold at all here. What I would like you to do is just flex those feet, meaning toes towards you, heels away. We're straightening those legs out, getting the back of the knee as close to the ground as we can, and our back is straight. We can be leaned back a little bit, but we're keeping that back straight, no rounding, no arching, nothing like that. Keeping the flex in the feet is gonna open up that whole posterior chain real fast, real fast. And we're just giving ourselves a little love here. So go ahead and point those toes and give another flex here. Hold. And again, go ahead, point and flex, hold. Bring those feet in. Knees are wide. And what I would like you to do is just a few breaths in this area. We're thinking about the area that we're coming towards right back here that we want to work. We're just setting that intention before we begin. All right, now I want you to just keep in mind, you're going to take these stretches as far as your body lets you. Don't push, don't strain, nothing like that. We just want to feel good and feel relief. If you are feeling pain, it's not the correct stretch that we should be working towards, especially with sciatic nerve pain. You should be getting some relief from these stretches. So here we go. We're going to cross one leg, one ankle up over that other knee. I have my right ankle I'm using for speaking purposes. Roll those shoulders back. And we're going to be bringing this bottom leg up on in. So slide that heel in nice and slow. Relax back here. Flatten out that foot. And we're going to sit here for a second, letting that whole area kind of stretch on out. And as I variate these movements, feel free to just stay here, okay? Do it, feels good. I'm going to drop this left knee towards the left. Okay, lowering the right leg more parallel over the other one. Okay, so this would be, I call them like log, I forget what I call them, something like logs, something, right? I'm going to turn for visibility. And again, you're going to take this as your body lets you. The more and more you do this, which you should be doing this a couple times a week, you'll get lower and lower, staying consistent, persistent, just like everything else. So the goal is to get here, but if you're like, oh my God, that's fine. Hang out here, all right? And we're just taking a few breaths. We're breathing into that area always. And we're going to slowly start bringing it on up and all the way on up here, right back to the beginning. Slowly releasing that down. Let's go ahead, swap that out. So we're starting here, sliding that heel in towards that tush. Flatten that foot. Take a breath here. Let it stretch. Feel free to add a flex to this top foot. To get a little deeper into that piriformis, we want to lengthen it, right? And we're always lengthening through the spine as we do these stretches. Correct form goes a long way. Let's go ahead and start lowering it. We're dropping the right knee towards the right, going for our log on log situation. Again, this is just where we want to go towards. If we're not there, we're not there. It's okay. We will get there, I promise. Promise, promise, promise. Slowly, let's bring it back up and extend that leg. Ooh, we're cracking. All right, so that's a stretch number 1. Feel free to stay in there longer. Go back, do another few rounds. Feel free to take a break during your workout to come to that stretch, before, after, however you want to use it. The next one I want to get into without using any types of props. We're actually going to go into our split stretches. If you've done that video already, then you know what's coming. But I love these guys. They're great for working on your flexibility, but they're also great to work out some of that pain relief here. So I'm going to go ahead with my left leg in front. I'm going to start in a lunge first. Okay, so I'm lengthening this left side just by getting more surface area exposed here, right? And the main stretch, I would say this is kind of, well, you'll see. Here we go. Press it on back. Toes are coming up, heel down. And you're going to feel all this underneath. Wake on up. Shouldn't be painful. It should feel good. All right. And we're going to hinge forward here. Little bit. Feel free to grab blocks, maybe some pillows, books, your kid, a chair, whatever you got. Or feel free to go right on down to the ground. This foot is flexed. And we're going to come right back to that lunge. Take a breath. Let's press back again. Toes come up. Beautiful. We're going to swap that out. I'm going to swing this leg back around me ever so gently. I'm going to come on up for visibility. Get this right leg out in front, but feel free to just swing it around. However we get there, we get there. It's all going to come easier the more we do this, like anything else. So let's go ahead for that lunge forward. Being careful not to get the knee too far ahead. For exercises, that's fine. But when we are lengthening and we're relaxed and we're fluid and we're stretching, especially post-workout when we're super warmed up, you don't want to go way too far, okay? Just because things are lax right now. We don't want to push it. So I would say between that heel and toe area for these guys, let's press it back. Toes are coming up. Straighten that leg. If this is where we're at and we're holding on, we're hanging out, this is where we're at today. That's okay. Tomorrow we'll get a tiny bit further. We're going to keep working on it. And if we don't get further, then the next day. It's all good. We're here for that. So if you're going for, a little bit further of a variation here, feel free to join me. But otherwise, we're going to work our way right back down to that lunge. Always feel free to widen out your stance, right? For balance or comfort, however your hips are feeling, right? And let's press it back. So we have a couple stretches to start with. Let's go ahead, swing this leg. This is what I was talking about. There we go. Take a nice child's pose. Press it back. This is a great stretch for back there. All righty. We give a little love to that back. And relax. When we're down here, sometimes we're tense, we're tight, we're anxious, whatever it may be, and we're clenching our glutes or our face. When we are in these stretches, I want you to just focus on letting it relax. Relax, relax. Let the belly hang, the face. Whatever is Gucci, let it be. Feel free to draw the forehead down to the mat. I'm not, just so we're not smush talking here, but for visual purposes, down like this. Except with your other hand out here. All right, let's come on up. So while we're in this area, some movement exercises in this position would be our hip cars, right? Our controlled articulated rotations, which will be on another video, but getting some circles in here, some hip circles, just to get some fluidity into that area. Feel free to reverse it. And we're slow, we're controlled. Everything has a purpose. So we're not just, circling it around, and I promise you, it does nothing. The slow and controlled create that connection. Beautiful, because we're keeping it even. Let's go ahead, swap that out, other side. We're going to start bringing in a couple of props here for the next movement or two. All right, go ahead, tuck your toes here. Get a little stretch in those feet. We're going to press it up to a down dog. So hips are coming up. Pull that belly to the low back, heels back. Go ahead, pedal it out. One heel down, other heel down. Fingertips are wide, palms are in the ground. Beautiful. Walk those feet on in to the hands, bend your knees, go ahead and roll on up. Okay, so next guy up, if you have a foam roller, that's where we're headed. These stretches, I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, but feel free to pause and hang out for a bit or come back, okay? The ones I like for the piriformis area, go ahead and get on top of it. We're going to go just a regular hip squared situation. I'm going to bring my hands back here and roll that tush out, okay? I'm doing the full thing. All right, let's start waking it up. This might be a little intense to get into when we hit the single-sided, but again, take it at your body's pace here, okay? You can always come back and work towards it. We're going to go ahead and cross one leg up over like we did before, and I'm going to have you actually slightly turn so most of that weight is on that bottom glute, okay? And we're rolling that out. So feel free to get, even more. You're controlling it. How much of, percentage of that glute versus the other one, 90-10, 80-20, wherever you're at. Maybe it's 100 all on that side. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. Kind of making it up. All right, let's go ahead slowly. Bring that leg back down. We're going to go ahead and swap it out. So we're crossing it gently. If your knee's coming up here, your knee's coming up here. Don't be forcing yourself down. At this point, that was for the other stretch. It's not worth it to do it up here. However, I will tell you to flex that foot, okay? That top foot. Go ahead and flex it. And now here we go. Other side. If you find, that you have like this spot where like it bumps over, that's like a knot in your butt. So you want to work that out. Roll over it a couple times. All righty. We're going to hit single side really on our side here. I'm going to go ahead and take this top leg, cross it over, and I have my hip / piriformis. I would say it's like a 50-50 situation here, rolling it out. This bottom leg is kind of hovered. Feel free to let it drag. All right, but you want to place it right where that pain is and see if you get some relief from rolling it out, getting some movement in there. I'm going to go ahead and swap sides. I would say, 30 seconds, 45 seconds on each one of these rolling stretches is probably sufficient. Feel free to hang out there longer. This is a great thing to do post-workout. Roll those babies out. Another thing you can use instead of a foam roller, if you want to get a little deeper, would be a tennis ball. I like to use these for upper body, like my traps and shoulders. We'll do another video for that. But feel free to go ahead and pop that, baby, right underneath and get some love in that way. All right. Definitely an option depending on, what you can tolerate right now. If moving your body and paying attention to all this stuff by yourself, one-to-one focus is new. Go slow. Go slow. All right, I'm here for this. We're working through this journey together. This is a little intense for me right now, I'm not going to lie. But I can feel the work it's doing. Woof. All right, third and last prop, I would say. I'm going to use a bench, like a stool rather, but feel free, like a kitchen table is usually a good height. You can do this on your couch, depending on how much hip mobility you have right now to lift that leg. But I'm going to bring the stool over so I can show you can really play around with the height. But this is a wonderful stretch to get right on in there. So what I'm going to do is get my leg, feel free to add like a blanket, a cushion on top. I just, I choose not to. But I have my leg crossed on top like a pigeon pose in yoga. I'm going to back this leg up and lengthen that leg in a nice stretch right in here. Now, keynote here, I want you to keep that back straight, no rounding or arching. We want to keep it straight, lean, forward, hinge with that chest going forward, right? Your heart forward, lead with it. This back heel is coming down to the ground. Again, depending on your height, you might be in here, you might be all the way back here. We'll play around with this guy. We have our hip is externally rotated, right? So we're getting a nice deep stretch in there. And as per always, let's keep it even. So getting some love here, flexed foot, lengthening out that piriformis. A lot of love, a lot of love. But if you're working on toning or building anything with the glutes, which is just primarily used in so many exercises, right? We need to show some love. All right, all right. I got one final one for you guys. It's a good one. We're going to use just the wall here. I'm going to use my door. And here we go. We're coming down on the ground. I want you to back that tush up. I'm going to go sideways. It's the easiest way to get that tush straight up against the situation. All right, so legs are here. Let's go ahead, flex these feet. This is also a great position to just be, I would say, generally speaking. Especially maybe when stressed or anxious or anything. Post-workout, let the blood come back to your heart, back to your head, and relax. But for this stretch, what I want you to go ahead and do is take one leg. We're going for that cross again, and this heel that's up here is going to slide down the wall or the door, and you're getting a nice stretch in this bent leg. And that piriformis, the same thing. Now, if your back starts to lift, your lower back, I want you to press the top foot against that wall and press the lower back flush against the ground, okay? Let's get a real good form. Great stretch rolling, and you take it as far as your body is telling you to, all right? Again, this is another 30, 45 second. I would hang out. Feel free to play around, you know, with the lengthening and the shortening. We're going to go ahead, bring it all the way up. Quick swap, other leg. Give it a cross. Lower back is flush, and bring that knee on down. For my prenatal mamas, just, you know, of course, don't, you know, be pressing too far. But if this feels good, then you're going to roll with it here. This is just a wonderful stretch for prenatal as well. Getting the feet up above, right? Gosh, I know. Totally know. So here we go. Legs are back up. We are going to carefully roll to our side to come on up nice and slow out of these positions. I hope you got some relief today with my sciatica stretching. There's never, you know, the perfect time, right? We need to just keep showing up. Keep showing up, keep talking to your body, keep working with your body, and let me know, you know, where maybe your body's speaking to you more. That way I can help you more specifically and individually. I'm excited for you to start this specific journey with sciatica relief. And any comments, feedback, always is welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your comeback coach. Have a beautiful day.